Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hump Day edition of Winners and Winers Radio. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together, we make up Winners and Winers Radio. Give us an hour, and we'll give you the winners. Scott, we're going to try to give out one winner today, right? We just got one game.
Unless we cover some preseason.
No.
That's where you draw the line.
I draw the line. I'll play preseason football. I'm not going to play preseason basketball, preseason NHL. Sorry.
Afraid of a fire alarm going off?
Oh, my God, dude. We're going to get to this. That's so funny. But it's certainly given me a plan B for all the times I've got a losing bet in action. So, one game yesterday, one game in the books. How's your Yankees doing, buddy?
I don't know. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. Hanging out at home, I guess.
How's that Bob Melvin first manager fired prop looking about now?
We'll find out. The A's had about a day or two of a gap period before.
What time is it?
Before Boone potentially was going to be thrown off the team playing. But we'll see what happens there. Boone, we'll get into the game in a bit. I don't think Boone did anything wrong pulling Cole that early. We'll talk about the game in itself. But at the end of the day, the Yankees just didn't show up.
Boone, he's got his thumb out on I-95 going south about now, doesn't he?
He should be. I don't know if he's heading north or south, but he should be trying to find a new place to live because New York will eat him alive if he stays around afterwards.
You can't spell Boone without boo.
Pretty much.
Is that a thing in New York?
He made that quote, actually. He said that the perks of having his last name is that he never knows when fans are booing him or not.
Oh, I think he's got a pretty good idea.
He said that a couple of months ago. I think he's lying, but that's the quote he used.
Yeah.
He had a dumber quote in the post game, but we can talk about that briefly.
We love Brandon. Have you seen that? We love Brandon.
That one I don't know.
Okay. Look. Google that one. That'll be a fun time for you. So yeah, it was a big day of baseball. Yankees are eliminated. Red Sox move on just to play the Tampa Bay Rays, which just seems like kind of a random weekend in July, doesn't it? The Red Sox and Rays, Yankees, Red Sox getting together. When's the postseason start?
Technically, it already did, but I don't know if you count what we just saw as an actual baseball game because after the first inning, it was kind of over. Actually, no, once Stanton's either first home run or second home run hit off the monster and turned into a single, the game was basically over at that point.
Clunk.
Yeah.
Clunk. Sometimes there's no worse sound in baseball than the clunk off the green monster.
Stanton was fantastic last night. Everyone else was awful, but Stanton was great. I'll give him props for that.
I really thought the Yankees offense that was in Boston, a week and a half ago or whatever, I thought that would be the team that showed up. I didn't think it would be the team that was in Tampa Bay.
Well, that's why I mentioned going into the game, the weekend series against Tampa was atrocious, and the Yankees bats were still ice cold apparently.
Yeah, they never took them out of the deep freeze from their trip to Tampa. So yeah, Yankees left me hanging. I was in on the Yankees, bud. I was in on Cole. I was in on the Yankees offense. None of those things.
I had a prop. I just faded Joey Gallo, which is usually a good place to go, and it worked out pretty well.
Just about got burned though, didn't you?
Almost did. He had a warning track fly out in the ninth inning, but luckily it was caught under half a hit, -110.
And a prop that we talked about last night that for Bet the Farm that we ultimately didn't take was Joey Gallo over 1.5 strikeouts. He strikes out in the first. He's got an 0-2 count, his next two at bats, and then pops up each time.
Yep, pretty much.
That would have been a call to cops right there had we decided to go that direction. Mm-hmm. But we went another direction, and it worked out a little bit better. So yeah, let's get rolling. We've got a big show to get to. Of course, we're going to recap the Monday night baseball action there from the American League. We're going to talk about the National League wildcard game with the Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Cardinals shocked the world. That's what everybody wants to know. I wouldn't say the Red Sox actually shocked the world. They did have a better head-to-head record against the Yankees. They were a small underdog there at home, but it was an upset. We'll talk about whether we've got another upset on the horizon for tonight. But before we do, there are still games going on, and there are some people that are taking it in the shorts, folks. Let's find out who you are. Of course, if you know who you are, so I guess that doesn't really make sense, but let's find out. Let's spread it around. Let's let other people know who you are, Scott. Who got the bad beat today? Who do we have to call the cops on? All right, the cops are here. Pull over, boys. It's time to get rolling. We're going to take a look first in, of course, the major leagues, is the Yankees and Red Sox. If you had no score in the first inning, looking pretty good. You had no runs, 2 outs, bottom of the first. Garrett Cole on the mound. He's dealing. Nobody on base. 1-2 count to Devers. Oh, Devers walked. He worked a walk. All right, not to worry. We just got to get past Sander. There she goes. That's a bomb. That's a 2-run home run, Scott. And if you had no runs in the first inning, you're a strike away. But no bueno, my friend. It was 2-zip after 1. That's more than 0. Time to call the cops.
And now you get to probably the most fun push call the cops beat, arguably, of the entire segment's history. So for this one, you had NBA preseason exhibition action. And whether you had a total or a side in the game, but the Grizzlies minus 6.5, we'll go with this one, against Milwaukee. Grizzlies were up 10 after 3 quarters, which is what you hope for if you're laying 6.5.
Laying right along.
And all of a sudden, the fire alarm went off inside of the building, and the whole arena had to evacuate. Now, there was no fire, at least to my knowledge, and they could resume the game. The announcers didn't get out of their chairs and said straight up they could resume the game if it was a regular season game. But since it's an exhibition, they weren't sure if the game would resume or not. It did not. The game was called after 3 quarters. And unfortunately for you, the NBA games need to go a certain length in order to qualify as an actual game for betting purposes. It did not reach that criteria. If you had Grizzlies minus 6.5, your team won by 10, but you still didn't make any money. And you didn't lose any money either. That kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's time to call the fire department right there. Not call the cops, call the fire department. So I didn't think about that the other night, Scott. I'm at the Royals game, and I've got the Royals, and of course they're terrible offensive performance. They look like the Yankees did last night. They can do absolutely nothing. I didn't think about just going out in the concourse and looking for a fire alarm, pulling the fire alarm, and calling it good, because it's the second to the last night of the season. They're going to evacuate 25,000 people. They're not putting everybody back in their seats for 3 more innings. Come on, it's over.
Doing anything, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
Baseball might work out the least though, unless you're in like Tampa or a dome. But if you're outside, then I feel like you could always just jump on the field if there's a fire.
Seems like that would be the last place.
But yeah, it's kind of an interesting dilemma. Of course, if it was a regular season game, I think they would have just resumed it after about an hour and a half delay.
Sure.
So pick your spots when it comes to pulling fire alarms to get out of losing bets. But for preseason basketball and preseason hockey, the guy might have been onto something.
Yeah, absolutely true. By the way, I have a long history of doing this, Scott. When I was like 4 years old, we were visiting my great grandmother in a nursing home, and apparently I got bored and pulled the fire alarm.
I'm impressed you could reach the fire alarm at 4.
Well, apparently I was determined.
Nice.
But yeah, the cops had to come. I will never forget that. One of my first memories. So apparently I have a history of pulling the fire alarm when I want to get out of situations that I'm not enjoying myself in. So losing a bet would definitely qualify for there. All right, let's do another one from the Red Sox Yankees game. If you had the under 7.5. We talked about this last night, because last night it was when we recorded the show, it was 8 juice to the over.
We actually had a war on the total because you liked the over, I liked the under.
That's right.
And yeah, then this happened.
Yeah, and then this happened. So if you had under 7.5, you had 7 runs going into the top of the 9th. Nothing worse than the Yankees in garbage time. Of course, the Red Sox are ahead, so that's it. You just got to get past that half inning. Yankees haven't done anything the entire game. They've put 1 run up to this total. Up to this point, you think you could just get 1? Nope. There she goes. It's Giancarlo Stanton, solo home run with 1 out. You were just 2 outs away, but 2 outs is a long time. You had the under 7.5, and you came in late on this number. It's on you. It's on you. Don't call us. Call the cops.
It was also a bit of a bad beat for me because when I compiled the sheet, I originally had Stanton over half a home run on Call the Cops because he hit the green monster twice.
Right.
And was about 5 feet combined from 2 separate home runs. And then he hit another one anyway, so it didn't matter. But I like how he hit the wall twice and said, no, we're going opposite field this time.
Yeah, but I saw Judge hit one to the with the warning track on going oppo, almost like I called it last night, but just couldn't quite get there. So, all right. Well, you know what? There was some good news for people out there. It wasn't me, but there was some people that did well, and you had nice, easy winners. I'm guessing maybe some people that perhaps had the Red Sox. I don't know, just going out on a limb. Whatever it might be, you know who you are, but let's find out as we disclose today's rocking chair wins.
Well, you could obviously choose the Red Sox, but we mentioned them twice for Call the Cops, so I decided to focus on a prop instead, which was even easier. If you had Garrett Cole under 7.5 strikeouts,
Right?
you tend to need to record more than 6 outs total in the entire game.
If you'd have told me that Garrett Cole was going to half the outs he recorded were going to be strikeouts, I'd have said sign me up for over 7.5.
Pretty much, but he only went 2 innings.
That's
he
the
recorded
problem.
6 outs, obviously. As a result, finished with 3 strikeouts.
Right.
Never in doubt. See you later.
Yep. No, peace out, Girl Scout. Yeah, it's hard to record 7.5 strikeouts when you only record 6 outs.
Yep.
I'm no math major, but I'm pretty sure. Hey, if you had the Canadians Maple Leafs over 6.5, eh? You had 5 goals in the first period, 2 goals in the second period. Hey, you could turn the playoff game back on. Game ended up 6-2. Well, yeah, over the total of 6.5, which that seems like a pretty hefty number there, Scott, huh?
Apparently, it wasn't hefty enough.
Hefty. Nope. Canadians Maple Leafs over 6.5. You were in a rocking chair, man.
And the last one was in preseason NBA in a game that actually finished all 48 minutes. If you had the Bulls -5 against the Cavaliers, you had a 21-point lead at the half. You led by 41 after 3 quarters, and the Bulls ended up winning by 36.
There you go. Nicely done. Are we going to be the last time the Bulls win by 36 this year?
They might play the Cavs a couple of times in the regular season, so stay tuned on that.
Good point. So it's been a weird week, Scott. We've seen so far, we just in 2 days, we've seen a game delayed for Lightning that's indoors.
Yep.
And we have seen a game canceled because of somebody pulling a fire alarm.
Yep.
So there you go. We find out who pulled the fire alarm by any chance?
See, I don't know if it was officially pulled or if there was a malfunction of some kind. I'm assuming somebody pulled it because it's kind of rare for a building like that to have a serious malfunction for that long.
I don't recall. I've been to a lot of arenas. I don't recall seeing the fire alarms. Now, maybe they're just so ubiquitous that I don't even realize I'm seeing them. But I've spent a lot of time at Royal Stadium. I cannot remember seeing a fire alarm within my reach anywhere.
Could be. I don't know. All I know is that for a building that can carry that many fans, I'm sure there's one someplace. Somebody might have found it.
This doesn't seem like a good power to give 18,000 drunk people at a basketball game. I'm not, you know what? That's not fair. Not everybody's drunk at a basketball game. 16-2 tops.
Yeah, okay.
All right, fair enough.
If it was preseason, I have to be drinking.
Are you drinking if you go preseason basketball?
I think I have to, right? I mean, I'm going to have action on it to some degree, but you're throwing in people off the bench who you don't even know. You know, the starters are barely playing. You know, who's this guy's passing it to? I don't know what his name is, but shoot the damn thing.
I got to be honest with you. I don't watch preseason basketball at all. I don't follow it. I don't look at the box scores. I don't attempt to handicap it.
I watch Summer League. I've handicapped Summer League stuff before.
Well, that's a little different because you've got players that are actually playing for something.
I was actually very profitable on the YouTube channel like a year or two ago. And I think it was 2-3 years ago, actually, for Summer League.
Living in the past, buddy.
Well, it was because they canceled Summer League 1 year because of COVID, so I couldn't do it. And last
Whatever.
year,
Everybody's got an excuse.
I didn't get that involved this past year, but right. Summer League has some betting angles if you want to actually make some profit.
I got you addicted to baseball, didn't I? I got you addicted to betting on baseball.
I don't think you did. I think it was the calendar.
Well, I mean, Summer League, you got basketball or you got baseball. So
you got tennis.
Oh, don't forget the tennis. Any tennis this week, buddy?
There's always tennis going on. There's multiple tennises around.
Just
Tenuses. Tenus. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Quick reminder, you guys are listening to Winners and Winers Radio, soon to be heading back to the window with Scott and Scott. Either way, you give us an hour and we'll give you the winners, and that's what we're fitting to do. But first, we got to hand out a couple of awards, Scott. We got to find out who's strapping it on today. The truck has just pulled up. They're unloading it. I have the golden feed bag in my hand. let's find out who's taking it home as we discover today's Donkey of the Day. All right, that was a long one today. I let it go today.
You kind of need to for this one.
You kind of do. Go ahead.
So during the offseason in the NFL, we were harping on some issues regarding one, how do we put this delicately, ancient NFL quarterback. And that was Big Ben Roethlisberger. And we said after the second half of last year, he was absolutely cooked. And we knew that he was going to struggle. We both thought Pittsburgh under for the team total, the win total, was definitely the way to go. Remind me how they are so far this season?
They're not good, buddy.
They're, I believe, 1-3.
1-3. Somehow snuck out a victory against the Bills with a blocked punt and a couple of other things that went exactly right.
Point is, they've lost 3 in a row. They lost to Cincinnati. They've lost to some other teams in there. But Mike Tomlin was asked about the obvious elephant in the room, which was Big Ben's performance and whether or not they could be making a quarterback change at some point in the near future. And Mike Tomlin, the loyal guy that he is, I believe both of us predicted this during the offseason, but we got to roast him for it anyway. He said that Big Ben still gives his team the best chance to win games. And I believe we said that this exact scenario would happen.
Yes.
We said that they would mention some injury concerns, and he actually did in the press conference.
Yep.
Will open the door for a potential benching because of injury in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But as of right now, he says Big Ben gives them the best chance. What game is he watching?
So then I guess without Big Ben, you have no chance to win instead of just a little chance to win.
I still am a firm believer that Rudolph gives them a better chance to win than Big Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Again,
and I'm not saying that Mason Rudolph is the star quarterback waiting in the wings. He's not.
No.
But at least he can throw the ball more than 10 yards.
I'm not, it kind of, because Tomlin's what, two Super Bowls, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 3 times.
I believe it was, I want to say 1.
Just 1?
He won the one against Arizona.
Is that it?
Yeah, what other one would he have won?
I don't know.
The Tomlin one was, the Tomlin took over after the win against Seattle with Cowher. So he only has 1.
Okay. All right.
He lost to Green Bay in a Super Bowl, but he only has
that
1
makes
title.
that makes it easier to roast him. He's a hack. Doesn't know anything about football.
Well, I think Tomlin's an extremely overrated coach, but I've said that for years. But
that's a hot take right there.
It's a hot take for the wins, but Pittsburgh has had so much talent over the years, they keep squandering it. Am I wrong? You have Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, that entire defense for basically a decade. And I don't know how he kept his job after the choke job, or not the choke job, just the no-show against Jacksonville at home a couple years ago in the playoffs. But yeah, anyway, Tomlin's going to do his own thing, and he likes Big Ben and some veterans who apparently have a little bit in the tank left, but they don't.
Should they have cleaned house after last year's debacle to Cleveland?
I made the argument that should have cleaned house after the loss to Jacksonville a couple years ago. So, yes, I think it was overdue. You make an argument, the Jacksonville loss, the New Orleans loss in the final game to miss the playoffs a couple years ago, where you ended up choking that. You finally beat New England one time, and you still missed the playoffs. Congratulations to you there. Then you had the massive implosion last year, where your team started off 11-0, then lost about 5 or 6 in a row to end the year.
Yep. And
now you're forced to deal with Big Ben again. I'm going to blame the higher-ups for that one, though, for bringing him back. I can't blame Tomlin for that. But I don't know how they haven't cleaned house yet.
Well, let me ask you this. We're roasting Tomlin pretty good for saying that. What's he supposed to say?
It's a situation where you can make the argument saying, we're keeping our options open. We'll see what happens. We'll play it game by game. You can be somewhat honest.
No, you can't do that.
I think you can.
Ben would have a conniption fit.
The issue is that people think that because Big Ben is this Pittsburgh legend, that they owe him some type of, I don't want to say job security, but basically job security.
Well, most importantly, not just people think that. Apparently, the management and ownership of the Pittsburgh Steelers think that.
Correct. So if Tomlin's being fed information in his ear saying you better defend Big Ben, then okay. But the point is the premise itself, Pittsburgh organization, Tomlin, because he's the one who made the quotes, Big Ben deserves no job security at all. He took a pay cut, which I guess was nice. He's still making way too much money. He's still making, I believe, what is it, like $14 million?
A lot, yes.
He's supposed to make like 30, and he ended up taking like 14 or something.
Sport.
All I know is that if the Patriots got crap for cutting Cam Newton, Big Ben shouldn't be on a roster. That's all I'm saying.
What about it, Yinzer Nation? I know we got some Steelers fans out there. They have fans all around the world. What do you guys think?
Of course, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But I don't know how you can be a current Steeler fan and sit there every Sunday and say Big Ben gives us the best chance to win. That's just a blatant lie.
What I want to know, if you're a Steelers fan or if you watch this team, drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. Are we out of bounds here? Is a damaged Big Ben still better than any other options? Or is it time for new blood and bring in Oklahoma State's very own Mason Rudolph?
I want to know what Pittsburgh fans in the comment section below still like about Big Ben besides the experience angle. Do you have anything you've seen from him in the pocket which tells you he's actually even an average NFL quarterback right now?
Yeah, well, he looked good in preseason. Remember the first game he played with the new system? Man, he was clicking right along. Everything looked great.
Yeah.
What happened?
They went up against actual first-string defenders.
Stop playing 4-3 vanilla defense?
Pretty much.
Okay. All right, so there's our donkey of the day, and this is pretty much it. Has to be this one, Scott. Let's find out who's disappointed us today. Now, remember, we're not mad; we're just disappointed. All right, there you go. Actually stopped it on time today. No battleship coming in behind it. It's a beautiful thing, Scott. I think this award. We really kind of got to split it in half, although if it was up to me, I'd probably give it to Garrett Cole, but we're going to give it to Garrett Cole and the New York Yankees offense. Two dreadful performances by a team and a player that are supposed to be much better than that. Last night, they certainly weren't. Like we mentioned before, Garrett Cole lasted just 6 outs. That's not good. Yankees put up, one run when it mattered and another run when it didn't. Just disappointing all the way around. Scott, I feel for you. You know, at least as a Royals fan, I knew my season was over in late July.
Yeah, because I've been a huge optimistic Yankees fan throughout the entire season.
Yeah. Well, you weren't.
I've been roasting this team for months.
You liked them to start, but when the injuries started piling up, you unloaded off that Yankees bandwagon pretty quickly.
And I feel like I made the right choice.
I agree.
Because I did. I mean, they're out right now. Garrett Cole's the main person who you would give it to because he's the guy as the pitcher. Because you're paying a guy north of $300 million who's supposed to be competing with DeGrom for the best pitcher in New York or even just in baseball. It's not even close. Like, DeGrom's clearly better. It's not even a discussion. But Cole's been struggling down the stretch, which is why we're not fully mad. Because a part of us mentioned on yesterday's show, Cole's recent performances suggest, especially in Fenway, that there's a chance he might get lit up in this spot. We thought it was an outsider's chance, but we thought there was definitely a game script in which it would not go well for Cole.
Yeah, I didn't because, like you said, I like the over. So I thought he might give up 3 runs in 6 innings, barely squeak by with a quality start, but the Yankees would have their bats going and be able to put up, 5+.
Yeah, you were expecting like 5-4, 6-3, something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I figured the Yankees bullpen would come in and shut them down like they've been doing, and none of that happens. Sometimes you look at a game and you map it out. You talk about how it's going to go. Sometimes it goes that way, and you look like an absolute genius. And then sometimes you look at a game like that and you say, "Here's what's going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to," and none of those things happen. And you look like a moron, and it could be on the same day. It could be yesterday you were smart, today you're stupid. It's a very humbling business, isn't it, Scott?
It really is. But anyway, so Cole, $300+ million. You got to do better than 6 outs in a single game elimination.
You really do. Yes, I think
so. That's the obvious one. But the Yankees offense, with all the people getting paid, I'm making 1.5 exceptions because Rizzo had the solo home run. His other at bats were terrible, but he had at least had a home run. Stan was fantastic, so I'm tossing Stan now.
Now, do you think either one of those balls hit the Green Monster would have gone out of, say, a normal stadium?
100%. He crushed. So
So they weren't like pop flies that barely grazed the top of the wall. They were drives that were headed out and they got stopped by the wall.
The second one was a rope. It just didn't get high enough. The first one, you can make an argument in Yankee Stadium, it's obviously gone. But in
Right.
another ballpark, like I think it's gone in Houston, for example. You throw in a couple other parks there.
Okay.
But it at the end of the day, it just didn't have the height. But Stanton had arguably 3 home runs in a game.
Yeah.
Only one of them counted, but he was fantastic.
That hurts.
How do you, as an entire team, and the announcers were praising how patient this team is at the plate. I don't know what they're even talking about, because if you watch the Yankees this season, you know they're not patient.
No.
But you have 0 walks as a team in 9 innings.
And you speculated. Now you watched the whole game. I did not. I was running around doing some errands, doing some work.
It's one of the 2 numbers. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 3-ball counts in the entire game.
That's phenomenal. That is, and it is inexcusable in a game you're behind by multiple runs and you need base runners and you're swinging at everything. Stop it.
Now, Eovaldi did find the zone a lot. He was very aggressive out there. But at the same point, you got to at least try to foul some pitches off or something. You got to try to work a count.
Well, they might have been, but they were swinging and missing at him.
They were. You knew it was a bad sign when Eovaldi got out of the first inning Stan had the hit, which extended the pitch count, but I think he was 3 pitches in through the first 2 batters.
Well, I know. I watched it in the second inning because I'd eaten dinner, and then I turned it on, and I know Eovaldi had thrown. I want to say 22 pitches into the second inning. So.
It could be, but all I know is that he was cruising from start to finish because you looked up, it was always either 0-1, 0-2, or 1-2.
Yes, and that makes all the difference in the world, man. It really does. That's
also shout out to Phil Nevin for this award, because I'm not mad that you sent Judge because you've been over sending runners throughout the entire season. You were an abysmal third base coach.
Can we talk about that? My God.
Well, I mentioned on the air before. I mentioned it on Twitter as well months ago. I think Nevin's awful. He sends everybody.
Look, we talked earlier this season about making the third out at third, how that is a no-no, but almost as bad as making the second out at home. That's ridiculous, Scott.
Yeah, it's awful. There's a reason why the Yankees, I believe, were the worst base running team in terms of outs in the entire league.
Yep.
Phil Nevin was a huge reason for that.
I believe it because he just ran him into a buzzsaw right there. Because I went back and looked at that. Like, was he throwing out the stop? Oh no, he was.
No, he even made it worse. He hesitated.
In concert with the windmill going.
It was even worse. He hesitated. He was late to make the wrong signal, which is just a double whammy. But at the end of the day, people were talking about second and third. It would have been first and third. Stan was admiring his shot again. He wouldn't have made it to second base. So it would have been first and third, 1 out. And Gallo probably would have struck out or something. But still, Judge was obviously not going to make it. Just stop. Can you stop sending people? I get the idea of putting pressure on the defense. There's a difference between putting pressure and being reckless. Nevin's just reckless.
Yeah, just made no sense, man. Made no sense at all. If there was 2 outs, maybe you make him make the good throw. Maybe he misses him in the tag or something.
Yeah.
But with an out, you're down. No, stop it. You need base runners.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Well, that's gonna put
threw in a couple of wild cards there with Nevin and company, but I had to mention a brief rant on that. That was terrible.
I agree. And I thought the same thing. In fact, I thought about making him donkey of the day, and then we had more deserving.
We had Tomlin, so that worked out.
Yeah, it did. So, quick reminder, guys, you are listening to Winners and Winers Radio. Give us an hour. We'll give you the winners. So, Scott, I always want to start the show every time we do it with "Play Like a Champion" today, but apparently that's trademarked. I can't do it. They charge me. Did you know about this story?
Can we get away with "It's the Heart of a Champion," like the former NBA songs that used to be on ABC?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's the heart of a champion, like that one. You know what I'm talking about? From like early mid 2000s playoff basketball.
I remember that. That's good. So Lou Holtz, crafty bastard that he is, Scott. He was part of a group that actually included ex-quarterback Rick Meyer as well.
Is it wrong that when I think of Lou Holtz, I think of the Frank Caliendo impression of Lou Holtz?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He was part of a group that trademarked the name "Play Like a Champion" today. They bought that name, Scott. They bought that phrase. Okay. They leased it to Notre Dame now. So Notre Dame has their sign. If you don't know, in the Notre Dame tunnel or the stairs, you go up the stairs into the tunnel. There's a wooden sign that says "Play like a champion today." I'm sure you've seen the tapes. Everybody hits the sign as they walk by.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Lou Holtz did not charge the former school that he coached to use that slogan.
I think he absolutely did.
You think he did?
They formed this corporation just to buy that name.
I don't know. You're charging your former school used to coach. Is that a dick move?
It is, but Lou Holtz, he's all about that money. He's a big motivational speaker. He charges a hell of a lot of money to go speak. He's all about that coin, buddy. And Rick Meyer, what's he doing?
That's fair.
So, a little upset down in Sooner Nation, Scott, because Bud Wilkinson put up a sign, said "Play like a champion today." He put it up in 1953. Lou Holtz put up his sign in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. Now, there's a little bit of controversy because apparently there was a sign. Lou Holtz found it in a book in the library, so he's old. But he was reading a history of Notre Dame tradition and found out that they used to have a sign that said that in the locker room back in the 20s or 30s, probably under Newt Rockne. So he brought it back. In the meantime, Bud Wilkinson beat him by about 35 years of actually posting it. So people, of course, in Sooner Nation are upset. First of all, do they have a case? Do you care?
I feel like these are the two perfect schools to have this debate because both of these teams have not been champions in a long time.
Wow. It doesn't say, it says "play like a champion," Scott.
Yeah, unfortunately, the today doesn't apply to college football playoff games.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So this is not unheard of, by the way. Of course, Pat Riley famously trademarked the phrase, do you know?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Three-peat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, three-peat. He's got like 5 different iterations of three-peat.
Why does Pat Riley do everything well?
He's just
coach, GM, trademarking. I don't know if he's ever made a mistake in his life.
Have you checked out his rap album?
I'm assuming it's fire. Is it good?
Kanye couldn't stop talking about it. It's that good. He's a true Renaissance man.
It really doesn't surprise me. The only thing I guess he failed in, which isn't even a failure, was his playing career because he's not a Hall of Famer. But
true.
Other than that, he's been successful for the last 30, 40 years in basically everything.
Everything he touches. That's right. So Texas A&M, they trademarked 12th man.
So what's the Seahawks doing?
They're buying it from they rent it from A&M.
Okay.
I found that out doing research for this story. I did not know that, but yes, cool. They are using that with the permission of the Texas A&M, whatever entity down at A&M owns.
By the way, to go quickly back to the Notre Dame Oklahoma scandal.
Sure, why not?
Did Wilkinson trademark it or he just said it?
No, he just they put up a sign. It's still there. Same sign, still there.
So what case do they have?
That they did it first.
Yeah, there's no trademark. Who cares? Don't you have to actually file it legally in order for it to be yours?
Well,
you can make the argument about court of public opinion, but for the grand scheme of it, if it's not legally trademarked, then I don't know what Lou Holtz or Notre Dame did wrong. They legally purchased the phrase.
I'm gonna trademark the phrase. Oh my God, I can't believe he swung at that.
You can try to do that. We'll see what happens, but I'm just saying, if you're making a legal case of can Oklahoma sue them for this, the answer is no, because they don't have a damn legal claim to it.
That's right. Your dad's a lawyer, too, so you would know.
Yeah. That is true.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, we'll just leave that there. I just thought that's interesting.
It's a funny story. I still laugh at the two schools being involved for this, but that's a separate story.
Yeah, I guess what you have Nebraska in there, too.
What's the Notre Dame a champion of? They don't even play in a conference.
Play like a champion today. All right, we're very good at badminton. Badminton team was great today. So, Scott, Urban Meyer came out with his official mea culpa. The owner issued a statement, kind of the dreaded vote of confidence, if you will.
Was that a vote of confidence? Because he basically just said he has to prove himself to the team. I don't even know what that even means.
He says he has to earn back their trust, and I think he will, was the way he closed it.
Oh, boy.
So, of course, we're coming at it from a sports betting perspective. Urban Meyer, now the prohibitive favorite to be the first coach fired / leave. Very important distinction right there, Scott. Minus 200. Any value on anyone else, or should we just bet the farm on Urban Meyer to be the first one?
Well, to go through the other names, you have Zimmer at 5-1,
Mm-hmm.
Truth is, I don't think Zimmer's done a bad job this year. They lost a close game to Cleveland. Cleveland's a good team. They lost on a missed field goal against the only undefeated team left in the league. So even though the Vikings are 1-3, I actually don't think Zimmer's done a bad job this year. You have Joe Judge, who beat New Orleans last week, so he's bought himself at least another couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Flores is safe because they don't have a quarterback. Tomlin, I think, is appealing, but Pittsburgh would never fire him midseason. That's just not happening.
Not a chance.
And Frank Reich won last week against Miami at 20-1, so he's also safe. Which means you got Meyer and Nagy. At the end of the day, he won last week against Detroit. We thought if they lost, they'd throw him off the team playing.
Out.
So he won. I think he'll buy a couple of weeks. The leave is the distinction here because I think Urban Meyer might leave.
Yeah.
You?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Go to what does he go to? Rehab or sex addiction clinic?
Whatever they send Tiger Woods to.
Yeah, whatever he's going to go do, that they're going to send
whatever
him.
David Letterman went to.
I would say somebody will no longer have a job in the NFL by the 1st of November.
Yeah, and I think we would agree that if it was only fired, then I don't know if there's enough value there on Meyer because I don't think Meyer's going to get fired. I think he has the classic move, which is, my heart's been killing me. I'm out of here.
You see the picture that went viral of him at his.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was just beautiful.
But in general, I think Meyer's going to step down if he's about to get fired. You?
I agree. I don't know why these fantastic college coaches keep doing this. We talked about Spurrier and
I think you're underestimating the size of the check.
It's a really big check.
Well, he wasn't a current college coach. He had some time off in the Fox studios, and then he eventually just decided, well, they're going to pay me to sit around. Sure, why not?
Who's that, Spurrier?
No, I'm talking about Urban.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think these guys get the itch, Scott.
But I'm saying it wasn't like he was successful at a college program and then left the college program for the pros. He was doing nothing, just analyzing games for like a year or two.
Well, he stepped away from a successful college program.
Correct. But I'm saying in general, he had some time off where he could regain the fire, so to speak, or whatever. But I think he just wanted the check.
Yeah, just deal with his heart problems. And I don't know.
Heart medication ain't cheap, man.
You think they'd have a pretty good plan there in Jacksonville? I don't know. That's just an ugly situation. And was he doomed? Was he doomed from the start? Did he have a chance?
In our eyes, he was doomed from the start. Yeah. I think some Jaguars fans held out hope. Even without all the distractions that typically come from an Urban Meyer program or team, the team defense needed some major overhauling, and they did absolutely nothing during the offseason. You signed one corner. You traded away your top corner who you drafted about a year ago. How did you expect this team to do well when you had the worst defense last year and you either treaded water or somehow basically got worse?
Somehow managed to get worse even with the top. Oh, yeah. What, they have 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, you drafted a running back who I know is injured, is not playing for the year, but James Robinson, from what I saw against Cincinnati, that's a guy you probably didn't need to draft a replacement for in the first round.
Good Lord. It made no sense. So
once that pick was made, I thought you might have had some problems on your hands.
He be first one to be fired before the season even started. All right, Very good. And finally, Scott, it was announced today, this year's version of the match, we're getting rid of the celebrities. There'll be no celebrities in this one. It's just going to be a grudge match, mano y mano, if you will. Brooks Koepka, and Bryson DeChambeau, Scott, going at it in Vegas on the Wynn Resort Golf Course. Thanksgiving, you excited?
I'm torn on this one because I now don't know if the beef is fully real. Right. Or if this was all just a full marketing ploy to get a match.
Was going to be my question, Scott.
So I don't know if any of it's genuine or not because they put their swords aside for the actual rider and they dominated. They were fantastic. But I kind of like the celebrities being involved.
Me too.
I just think that it's a more laid-back, fun atmosphere. If these two guys actually do hate each other,
right?
How are you supposed to ask them good questions in between each hole?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're going to be dialed in. Like, I don't really – I kind of like the laid-back, fun atmosphere you got with Barkley in Brady's ear talking crap to him. Like, I think that's all fun. But if you have DeChambeau and Koepka and they both hate each other, legitimately or not, and they're trying to sell this hatred to it. I'm not expecting many fun interview moments. Are you?
No, it's going to turn into Judge Smales and Ty Webb, Scott. The guys
I think it's just too serious for me.
Genuinely hate each other.
I think it's too serious for me. I like the celebrities because it adds a little gimmick to it that is more fun. You get to laugh at great athletes doing stupid stuff on a sport that they don't specialize in.
Of course, it started off as Nicholson versus Tiger, and then they added the celebrities later.
That was also pay-per-view, I believe, so I actually was not able to watch that when he was actually on at the time.
Oh, you didn't know how to steal feeds then?
But the point I'm trying to say is that it wasn't as accessible mainstream as the celebrity ones.
I see. Yes, that's correct.
But so I can't comment about how it was only with two professionals with no actual foursome in place. It's just a normal match play event.
So let's do this. Who would you like to see as the two celebrities?
Barkley, easy.
Okay.
Give me Barkley and Jordan. Let's have some fun.
Barkley and Jordan.
Jordan's making side bets for like millions on every single hand. I know that now Jordan and Barkley aren't on speaking terms because Barkley made comments about Jordan's, let's say, lackluster performance as owner of the Hornets. And apparently Jordan's never forgave him for that. So they actually don't talk to each other anymore.
Okay.
That's a hell of a combo. You get Barkley and Jordan on the golf course together. I think that's fantastic. You?
Yeah.
Assuming any pairing was possible. I think that's a very nice two to add.
Barkley is a good one. I had another one in my brain. It'll come to me. It totally went out of my brain when you started talking about Jordan. It wasn't. Do
you like that combo though of Jordan and Barkley?
It's all right. I like to see Bill Murray.
Okay.
I want to see one of the celebrities that's absolutely associated with golf. I want to see. I'll give you Barkley. Let me see Bill Murray and Charles Barkley play.
I don't know does Murray still golf?
As far as I know.
Okay.
I mean, I saw him like last year.
Because I know Barkley's been trying on the celebrity tour, and he makes some cameo appearances and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be entertaining. So, all right, very good. All right, buddy. Well, anything we've kind of left this space open to talk about the game last night. I think we've kind of dribbed and drabbed. Any final thoughts on the game?
Please fire Aaron Boone.
Oh, I think you're going to get your wish, my friend.
That's basically it. I can't even blame him for yesterday's performance, but you got to start somewhere.
You could just go ahead and tear that Bob Melvin ticket up now. Just
soon, when the time is right.
It's over. It's over, Rover. So tonight we have another game. Now it looks on the surface not quite as big a disparity, neither with the odds or with the pitching. But Scott, do we have another situation that's setting up just like last night as the St. Louis baseball Cardinals travel to L.A., take on mighty Max Scherzer, University of Missouri graduate, and the rest of the Dodgers. This one opened up at 210. Scott, we predicted it would go up, and go up it has. It's now pretty much 225, 230 across the board.
I said 240 closing.
So we said 240 on that, and I still think it's got a good chance to get there. Although there could be some buyback on Wainwright coming. I don't know. It's Wainwright and Scherzer. 7.5 is the number. That's where it opened. That's where it sits. That's where it's going to die. Scherzer has not been fantastic over his last three starts. Now, one of those starts, he was pretty good. He gave up 3 earned runs, 6 innings, quality start, 2.
Are we tossing the core start in the garbage, or are we keeping it?
I think, don't we kind of have to?
I think you can, but I'm just saying you have to make a statement that one of them was in cores, so do with that information what you will.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. As he squared off against Kyle Freeland, and that did not go well. Although he had no excuse.
Well, he's just historically terrible in Coors Field.
Yeah, well, he had no excuse for losing to Ryan Weathers in the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, other starts.
He didn't lose, by the way. He gave up 5 earned. Mm-hmm. In 5 1/3.
I think they came back and won that game, but
did.
There's no actual.
They've won every game he's pitched since he's been traded. By the way,
there's no excuse for the other starts, but the Coors Field one, you have the unique environment aspect to it.
Okay, all right. So then, are you okay with him? Are you?
I was going to say he still hasn't been good anyway.
It was horrible his last time out, and he was bad the time before that, but it was in Coors. Every start before that, Scott, he had gone 5 starts without giving up an earned run.
Well, you mentioned how it's similar to yesterday, and just to elaborate on that, Garrett Cole went into this start having not pitched his best baseball or even average baseball for the last couple of outings, and he got shelled. Now, am I saying that Scherzer's guaranteed to get shelled here? No. But I am saying that if you want to buy into anything that you can determine from yesterday's game and try to extrapolate it to this one, it's that current form for pitchers matter a lot more than season-long stats.
That's absolutely true. Let me give you a couple here because everybody's talking about what a mismatch this is.
I think it's closer than people think.
The Dodgers are so much better. Each of these teams, Scott, has won 17 of their last 20.
Yep.
LA outscored their opponents in those 20 games 118 to 71. Cards outscored their opponents 122 to 68. They scored more. They gave up less. The Dodgers won all 11 of Max Scherzer's starts since being traded from the Nats, although, as we discussed, it took a lot of offense to get him there in the last two. Adam Wainwright, he's won 13 of his last 14. The Cards have won 13 of his last 14. So do with that what you will. I'm just saying this matchup could be closer than people are anticipating.
Now, just for the actual breakdown on this game, are you expecting – I know the wind's blowing out to right field at about 7. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a decent amount of lefty bats being stacked with these two teams. You think it matters for high scoring, or do you think there's just going to be a low-scoring rock fight?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring rock fight because you've got a situation where, the wind's blowing out a little bit to right field, but you've still got the heavy air. You've still got the heavy nighttime marine air there in Los Angeles. Now, wait a minute. What time does this game start? This game is going to be 8 p.m. Eastern time?
Well, of course, you're asking because of the 3-hour time difference comparing the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah, okay, so it is. It's going to be okay, I take it back, Scott.
It's 5 o'clock.
It's going to be 5:10 local. So you're not going to have the nighttime air, at least for the first 2/3 of this game.
Mm.
So that's not going to be a factor as far as the total goes. I still think pitching is going to prevail.
Well, the issue that I have when it comes to evaluating the wind is that you're expecting lefty bats to be aplenty. The issue is for Los Angeles, your best lefty hitter is Muncy, who's injured. Bellinger's been awful this season.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Seager. Now, Seager's good. He's been hitting the ball really well lately. Other than that, what other lefties do you have? And then you look at the Cardinals. Really, what other lefties do you have? Like Carlson, who's a switch? Is that basically it?
Yeah, that is basically it. And this is a Cardinals team. Neither one of these teams
they don't have many lefties.
Cardinals hit 239 against right-handers. Dodgers hit 241.
And the Cardinals are not using Carpenter, who's been awful this year. That's just not happening.
You don't think so? You think
pinch hitter situation for a pitcher may be late, but in the actual starting lineup, Carpenter's not playing.
Dodgers start Pujols?
I think they might have to. I mentioned this to you before we recorded, but without Muncy, you have a Pujols angle where he might not have faced Wainwright that many times, but I'm sure he knows a lot about him because they were teammates for a long time.
Right.
I do think Pujols are going to be playing for experience. You?
Yeah. I think without Muncy, you're probably going to see Albert in there and taking his swings.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be productive or anything, but I do think with the experience and just the knowledge of the Cardinals, especially with the starter who's been around for such a long time,
mm-hmm.
I do think he probably has some knowledge that he has stored somewhere, and they'll try to untap it for this game.
I would agree. I would agree with that. So you got a pick on this game?
I'm rooting for the Cardinals just because it's a great meme to see an 106-win team lose in a one-game playoff and go home.
I just think there's value there.
I think there is too, because you're talking about how the Red Sox were dogs yesterday because the Yankees had Cole, big name pitcher,
right,
who had struggled lately, and Wainwright's been phenomenal for the last couple of months, pretty much the entire season. And Scherzer is in his worst stretch of pitching for the last year, 3 years, entire career. I don't even know, but he's been unbelievable his entire career, except for recency, based on the performances there. But the issue I have with St. Louis, that bullpen stinks. It's such a hodgepodge of random guys who just aren't very good. I know we criticized Jansen for the Dodgers. He's been great this year. He's still got Gratterall. He's still got Trinan.
Yeah, by the way, we spent most of the show patting ourselves on the back for great takes that we had early in the season.
Jansen's a very, very good regular season closer. It's the playoffs where
it's all you got left. It's all you've got left.
But it's not wrong.
He's had a great regular season, so all we can cling to is, well, he sucked in the postseason.
Well, I'm asking, do you trust Jansen in the 9th inning of a one-run game in this spot? The answer is no. The answer is just no. You don't.
We've been wrong.
I have not been wrong in the playoffs, so I'm holding on to that. But the way I'm looking at this game, I'm looking at first five. I'm looking at Cardinals. I think that if you want to try to isolate Scherzer versus Wainwright, and you think Wainwright's going to hold his own, then I do think avoiding the Cardinals bullpen, expecting Wainwright to go 6 innings plus, gets you covered. I'll take the Cardinals first five. You?
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
The Dodgers are also known for a lot of really, really just stupid late inning rallies where they'll hit 4 home runs in an inning, and I don't want to bother. Give me the Cardinals to start off early.
All right, very good. I just think there's value on the Cardinals all the way across. You're looking, like I said, at 230, you're getting plus 190 on the Cardinals.
If you wanted me to price this myself based on current form, I would get the Dodgers at like 145.
I was going to say closer to 170, but
yeah, I was going to say 170 is probably where they'd put it. But I'm really concerned with Scherzer's recent performance. If it was Bueller, I might put it 170.
Well, the other problem is though, Wainwright hasn't been great over his last 3. He's got an ERA over his last 3 of 5.06. Scott, he had 2 decent starts. He went 6, gave up 2 runs against Milwaukee, and he went 6, gave up 2 runs against San Diego.
Yeah, he had a bit of an outlier there against Milwaukee in the middle.
But then he had a bad start at Milwaukee against Hauser, where he gave up 5 earned in 4 innings. So, there'd been some signs that he was, not quite dealing the way he was, but I think he's still plenty good enough. He's a veteran. He knows he's been here before and done this before. Very good playoff pitcher, about 3.14 ERA in the playoffs. So I think there's value on the Cards. You roast the Cardinals bullpen. They won 17 straight. The bullpen had to be doing something right. I'll count on them to win 1 more.
Okay. I just feel better about when it comes to comparisons. I think Dodgers bullpen's better than Cardinals bullpen.
I agree.
So I'll go with the first 5.
Okay.
Plus, you also get a push draw.
That's true. All right, very good. And tomorrow, we got a big day tomorrow, man, because we've got Thursday football to talk about. We've got
Coastal.
We got the Coastal. Do you like tough, hard-nosed defensive struggles where the teams just punt all night long and play for field position? Do you? Well, then you shouldn't watch the Coastal Carolina Arkansas State game, because
points
defense is just going to be a rumor there, at least for one of the teams. So, yeah, definitely take the points there to play the over. That'll be a fun game to watch. We've also got a good NFL game, and we've got the actual baseball playoffs, and we haven't actually handicapped those yet. So we're going to be taking a look at all those series. But we have just one thing left to do for today, everybody. You know it, you love it. You've waited this long. It's time to get it on, Scott. Once again, everybody, you need to just climb up on your tractor, put on those overalls, fire that John Deere up, people, because get ready. It's time to bet the farm. Very good. Now, Scott, I understand we did have a farm play yesterday. How did that end up going for us?
We had Nathan Eovaldi over 5.5 strikeouts at minus 115 on DraftKings, and he finished with a lot more than 5.5 strikeouts.
Outstanding. All right, fine. All right, there it is. It's a Bet the Farm winner. Time to make it 2-0. Time to make it 2-0 or 2-1 for the week, Scott. We start off badly, but we've got the stink of that week off of us. Time to keep it rolling. And we've got one cooked up from preseason NBA. No, we have one cooked up from the Dodgers and the Cardinals. We're going to play a player prop. Scott worked out well yesterday. We're going to do it again. We've got Trey Turner for the Los Angeles Dodgers over a half a run. That's a positive money play, Scott. That's paying plus 110 at DraftKings. Trey Turner scored at least 1 run in 13 of his last 14 games. That is quite a stretch, including 10 in a row. He has a career batting average just 357 against Adam Wainwright. Oh, by the way. And Turner also has a 357 batting average in Dodger Stadium this season. He hits second or third in the lineup. He's got some boppers behind him, even without Muncy there. You know what? How about an Albert Pujols RBI double?
How about an Albert Pujols squeeze play? How about that one?
I'd like to see that. I hope there's less than 2 outs.
Yeah, but either way,
legging it out to first.
Yeah, Turner, we know that he's a speedster and everything like that, but when you're scoring runs in 13 of your last 14 and each of your last 10 and you're getting plus 110 for a run,
yeah,
that's crazy. Now, of course, that's not RBIs. That's him to actually cross home plate. But he'll steal bases. He'll do what he needs to do. Tremendous base runner. We should have chances.
Yep, I agree. I think he's going to be on base. I think he's going to be in scoring position. And I think the Dodgers will knock him in at least once. So that's going to be our Bet the Farm play for today, Wednesday, the 6th of October. Trey Turner over a half a run at plus 110. That's going to do it for us on this Wednesday edition. We appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. As always, good luck on all your plays today. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money when you head back to the window. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. For me and for Scott, appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and what else? You rate and review. That's right. Do all those things. All right. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow on Winners and Winers Radio. Take care, everybody.